Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mary D Talk Show. I'm so glad you're able to make it today. I tell you, I do apologize. I was on the phone, and it was such an urgent calls from a friend, more family, and she is going to Africa. She's on her way to Africa, and that I got all caught up into that. I have friends that have relocated. They moved. They sold their homes in America. They moved to Africa, and I say whatever makes you happy. That's what I say. But anyway, happy Monday, everyone. Welcome. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mary D. Welch, and I'm the host of the Mary D. Talk Show. I'd like to welcome you to the Mary D. Talk Show. First, I definitely want to thank you, if you're a live viewer, and thank you, our replay viewers. Those of you, whether you're live or replay, when you go to YouTube, if you click the subscribe link, I really would appreciate that. You like and subscribe because the logarithms that are on these platforms, they're looking and constantly seeing who is on there. You know, if there's somebody there who is liking, subscribing, is it going up? All of these things matter. So if you just go there and do that, I really would appreciate that. And tell your friends and family. They can, and I'll be honest. Let's say you subscribe and you say, "But I never really watched the show." That's not the point. You're showing support the minute you say subscribe. The minute you subscribe, that's showing support to the show. So I appreciate that. And I'd like to thank you to our not subscribers, our sponsors for the show. The Idea Club, Dumas Martin Jr. is the president of the Idea Club. If you're looking to have a 501c3, if you're looking to organize a C Corp or S Corp, then go to theideaclub.com and you want to talk to Dumas. This is his world. And I spoke to him earlier today and was just asking him a few questions because he's the one that's responsible for my husband and I organizing our companies. It's been through Dumas. And thank you, Dumas. Your support really means a lot. Next, I'd like to also, those of you that are interested in writing a book, you can go to First Book Academy or Front Page Publishing. If you're interested in writing, whether it's a children's book, it can be a fiction book, any books. We help you write them and we help you publish them. And so you can go to either one of those platforms and you can get that done. We'd love for you to do that. If you're interested in buying property or if you're interested in selling it, you can go to the Henderson Real Estate Team. They will help you. It's the Henderson Real Estate Team.info. And this is a husband and wife team. They're both educators. They will help you with buying or selling your property. So you definitely want to do that. Ladies, gentlemen, also I'd say the nonprofits involved with the show are Main Ambition, which helps high school students graduate, reducing the dropout rate. Main Ambition, you go to mainambition.org and you can support that nonprofit. And the other one, HealthWise, is IEHP, is also a supporter of the show. Now, I went to quickly, and I'm going to do this quickly because I talk about the books and I show them to you. This time, I'm going to show you some books that are not through our company. I'm going to tell you why. These three authors I'm going to show you they were not published through Front Page Publishing, but they're still important authors. And the reason I say that because your support is still needed. This was a guest on the show, it's called The Invisible Black Nurse. This is Dr. Ora Robinson. If you have an opportunity to get this book, please do. The Invisible Black Nurse. Here's one. This is Welcome to the Adventures of Corey's Courtroom. And this is James Harris. I forget James' last name. James Harris. This is his book. All African-American authors that I'm showing. And they're all available on Amazon. And this is Forgiveness Can Change Your Life Forever from another author. Now, these are published with other publishers. But I really just want to support authors, period. Now, this book, as many of you know, this is one of my favorite. This is my youngest author. She is 90, and this is her book. And I'm so proud of Dr. Henry. It's From the Ashes I Rise. This is Dr. Henry's book. And she is the spunkiest 90-year-old you ever want to meet is Dr. Henry. This is her book. This is the other one, Transformations, where it's included. It's 13 authors that work together. The authors all in the back. Some of them are actually, this is their very first publication. This book is also available. Transformations, an anthology. It's available on Amazon. This, as I often tell you, this is another book. It's called My Cat is a Spy. And this book is by our son. His name is Justin Lowe. So if you have a chance to get a copy, then go in and get a copy of that book. Also, this is from Fayette Foster. This is her book. This is Why Is Little Face So Happy? And I'm going to I'll do just the newest one that I've done, which is Justin Lost the Truth. This is the newest one that's out now. It's available on Amazon. Now, I want to make sure, and I didn't go over Save Your Home from Probate. I think, let me just say this. If you know someone that owns a home and they have a will, but they don't have a trust, they may want to look into, I would encourage them to look into Save Your Home from Probate. For less than $100, they can save their home from going to probate. Upon their passing, they can determine who's going to get the property. It keeps it out of court, keeps it out of the lawyer's hands. That's the goal. Just go to Save Your Home from Probate on Amazon, and you can have an opportunity to do that. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I always have to go through before I get to our guest. Today, we have opportunity. We have a special guest with us today. And this gentleman, I was honored. I met him on a movie set. We were both on a movie set together. It was actually in downtown LA about 2 weeks ago. And when we started talking, it seemed like there was an instant connection. And I was just asking him questions about what does he do. And when he told me he was a publicist, that was already fascinating to me, because that's not an everyday type of a job or career or anything like that. And so what I did, I just asked him, I said, would you mind? I said, I have a YouTube show. Would you mind being a guest? He said, sure. And when he said sure, I was like, wow. It was just the kindness is what always resonates in my heart. I'm one of the people, I'm very, I'm a Cancer, very sensitive, very, intuitive, those kind of things. So when people, their spirits, it literally, when they speak to you, when you look at people, all of those things come out. And I can honestly say about this gentleman, they were there, and he was very much welcoming, very much, as I said before, kind. And so he said he would come on the show. And so I like to, at this time, welcome to our show, Darren D. Dickerson, a Hollywood publicist. And he's also the publicist for a company I work for too. And that's MegaMind Media. Are you there, Darren?
I am. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
It's good to see you again. It's only been, 2 weeks?
About that, yeah. About 2 weeks.
I know. I know when we met on set, I'm just impressed with what you do and how because Hollywood is, before I get into Hollywood, before I do that, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about you?
So I am Darren Dickerson. I'm a entertainment publicist. I run a boutique PR and marketing firm, DSD Publicity, which I founded actually after the passing of my mentor, Pat Tobin, who was a legendary publicist, Patricia L. Tobin. And so I was working with her agency when she passed of cancer, and left in a situation where I had to kind of restart a company that I once started, but more in publicity. I am currently also the head of publicity and marketing for MegaMind Media, position I recently started, but I'm so excited to be a part of, and really looking forward to growing with this company. And we actually met on a MegaMind project. It's a great intersection. My longstanding client, Vanessa Bell Calloway, who was a DSD Publicity client, has been working with Tressa Azarel Smallwood for quite some time. And she was in a new series called Wicked City, which premiered last October. And I can't officially say if it's coming back soon, but fans may be excited about news coming up. How about that? And so Vanessa was doing a premiere in Atlanta. And I had talked to Tressa several times, just working with Vanessa, but just in my role as Vanessa's publicist / producing partner.
Right.
And so long story short, this particular time, there was a reason that I needed to be there. And so this was my first time actually going and seeing like the whole MegaMind family, right? There was really a family situation. And so I'm like, wait a minute, your sister does this, your niece is doing this, your brother-in-law does this. And I'm like, I got to know a little bit more. And the more I understood, the more I wanted to be a part of the MegaMind family. And so the irony is that one of my longest standing clients, it's hard for me to call her a client. She's more family than business. But through our business relationship, she opened the door for me to meet Tressa Smallwood. And from there, we forged this great business relationship.
I can tell you, and I've been with MegaMind, oh my gosh, years, to be honest with you. And I'm now a casting assistant with them. And I love MegaMind. And it is a family. It is a family business, but it's a family. If you're connected with them, you're
Yeah.
family. Your
Well, you
family.
know what? One thing about me is, and I would be remiss if I didn't kind of do a little bit of my job here. MegaMind Media, what I saw when I understood what Tressa has kind of put together and was been able to accomplish, is one of the few, one of the only Black-owned, women-led companies that has the ability to greenlight projects.
Yep,
Right.
they do.
And so, you
Mhm.
know, I know 50 just posted something recently showing
Yes,
all the networks in his orbit and saying, hey, he's one of the only Black men who's in the position that he's in. And I tagged him there. Well, I said, well, there's another one as well, Black woman CEO Azrael on Instagram. Um, and so, you know, it's just a really great time
yeah,
in Hollywood for people of color, not just African Americans and for women in particular as well. And so, just kind of be here and witness what's happening and be a witness to it, right? A lot of times when we say witness, we think we're seeing it, but you
yeah,
know, if you're a person of faith, you know, so also witness has a double entendre, which means that you're also to speak about it. And so, I
yeah.
feel fortunate to be a witness to say I see this as like, you know, remember the '90s era, right? The
Hmm.
Death Row, the Bad Boys, the So Devs, the MegaMind Media from a production standpoint. I think it's equivalent of that, right? And
Yes.
that's kind of the direction I'm kind of pushing us in to be, you know, leaders in that way and try to chart a new path on the production side for up and coming production companies.
Well, they're actually shooting starting tomorrow. Um, the first lady of BMF
Yeah,
is shooting tomorrow. The Tanisha Wells story. Um, I've been blessed. I'll be there in about a week. I'll be on set, and
yeah. I
just
think
be.
I think we'll probably be around right around the same time.
Are you gonna be
Yeah, I got to come up. I have to come up for a couple of
there?
days. Come on,
Okay.
stop it. It's the first lady of BMF. I mean, you know,
Thank you. You just it's one of those and then Vivica Fox is the director for that
yeah,
production. When we just finished, Vanessa Bell Calloway was the director for Black Girl Erupted.
yeah.
Um I was just honored to be on set. You know, anytime I'm in that creative environment is so much positive energy. It really, really is.
You
And
know what's interesting you say that is that I've been on a ton of sets. I mean, I've been on countless sets, right?
mhm,
And I what's interesting, I think I've only been on one Megamind set, but it's been the same set. It's been like one project, right? Black Girl Erupted that was filming here. This will be my second opportunity to be actually on set. I've been around them and around other activities that were happening, but just from a production standpoint.
right.
But if the energy on this set
Yeah.
is anything like, if the energy on other sets are anything like this one,
Yeah.
I can't imagine what the experience has been like for people over the last few years. I hate I
Yeah.
missed it, but I'm happy I'm here now.
I was blessed. My very first production was Strange Love with Country Wayne,
Hmm.
and I was crafty on that set. I was the
Okay.
crafty part, and I remember thinking I actually said this to one, and we were in the room. It's about 5 or 6 of us, and I said, "Oh, I'm just crafty," and a lady came over to me and said, "Don't you ever say that again." And because I was really putting down what I was doing. And she said, "Do you not understand that every single production person has to come through you to get a cup of coffee? Do you not understand your smile, the way you interact with us, all affects the crew?" I was sitting there going, but the teacher in me comes out on those kind of situations. I want to
Yeah.
know what's your name and what do you do? You know, one of those people. But she said and then I had to be out. I was there for about, I think about 8 days straight. And
Right.
then I was one day I was off. I just couldn't work that day. They called the next when I came back on set, they're like, "Well, where did you go? And what did you do?" And I'm thinking, you mean you guys missed that I was gone? But it really showed me too. What that young lady said, all of us matter. This is a product. When you're doing a production, it truly is all of us working together to make this a success. It is not big I, little you. It was, and
No,
that's how it was when we were on. And
everyone's job is important, right?
it is.
Gaffer, grip,
Doesn't matter.
you know what I mean?
You know,
Everyone's job is important.
it is important. And that's the one thing I learned from that. Like I said, that was my first time. And now, I don't know how many sets I've been on now. Anytime I can go, I try to be there. Anytime I can be on. I assist. The lady I work directly for is Lynette J. Blackwell. She is a casting director for for MegaMind
Yeah.
projects. And I'm just looking forward to going back. I'll be there for not about a week. About a week in Maryland. So, but I enjoyed that. But your field in to be the publicist. If I understand this correctly, help me. Is this something you don't really go to school for this? This is like on the job training, correct or no?
No, no. I interestingly enough, I majored in journalism with the emphasis in public relations.
Okay.
So I'm a proud graduate of California State University Northridge. CSUN, go Matadors, and we and represent for our state schools. San Diego State University is in the NCAA final. So we, even though it's not CSUN, we will rep SDSU because it is one of our state schools here in California. So yes, we represent stadiums. But all the stadiums all around the country, right?
I'm from San Diego, so I'm supporting San Diego State. You know that. That is for
exactly. So, yeah, no, but I actually what's interesting that I had an interesting path is that I've always been a journalism major. I originally went to Santa Monica College. I was with the emphasis in journalism. I wrote for the papers at Santa Monica. I was of course I was like a regular journalist, and I was a copy editor, and I was opinion page editor.
Wow.
And what was really great is that I had an opportunity to interview Tommy Smith, the legendary, right? Because he was a coach at Santa Monica at the time. And Santa Monica College has they've always been an Olympic training facility. Right. And so the rings were on. So we were able to walk around the track that had Olympic rings on it, talking to Tommy Smith. I did some pretty good, some of the writing I did there kind of got me noticed, but I was really writing more for the entertainment page. Right. This was the same time that, Death Row and everything is kind of blowing up. And so they reached out to me and asked me, would I cover Murder Was the Case? Right. And so I covered Murder Was the Case. I'm from LA. I'm from Inglewood, actually. And so Inglewood, California. And so I knew some people in that environment. And so I took an opportunity to kind of get close to Death Row, but not really. But I had already come from like an entertainment world. Okay. So I started out. So my real history is that I started out managing groups, right? When I was in the military, speed version. Threw parties in high school.
Got it.
Did all the stuff you could probably do in growing up in South LA, as well as with family in Little Rock, Arkansas, and all these trouble spots. And so I recognized that where I was headed was not where I should be. So I went to the military. I want to shout out my grandmother who's no longer with us, Charlie Dickerson. You already know what it is. She was not having it. So I went into the military. 7 years in the military. But because I threw parties in high school, I kind of started doing parties and clubs. I was stationed in DC. DC's Fort Myers had a club that was on the installation, and you could and it was one of the hottest clubs on Saturday night, and people came from outside, right, from the Virginia DC area onto our military installation and the party, right. And so I kind of got bit with the club vibe, because it was one thing to like host a party, but it was another thing to understand the internal operations of a club venue. And so I was able to be there not just on the Saturday nights, but I was there like during the week and saw all the other things that happened, from bingo to just the random things that people did on the other nights that clubs were open.
Uh-huh.
And so when I got back to LA, I thought I was gonna come out. I was a database manager, systems controller. I managed the largest database in the world at 19. I managed
Wow.
the database for the military district of Washington, D.C. I managed the database for United States Army Europe and 7th Army. I managed the database for Forces Command, and I was over all of the troop movement in and out of Iraq. And
Wow.
so, just the taste of war is enough for you to want to get out of the military. I really went in for college money, right? No fighting was supposed to be happening. Okay, so I got out, came home, thought I was gonna be a tech genius, but the language that was being used at the time was not in the private sector, right?
Mm. Okay.
So fell back into things I knew, and very quickly, and this is my God story. So very quickly, I found myself sitting in a jail in Antelope Valley, which is just outside of LA,
I know where Antelope
for
Valley.
for a little, just being going back to bad habits, right? And what I learned is that you can change your location, but if you don't change yourself, right? So in
Yeah.
all these places I had gone, and all these things I had been able to accomplish on the military side, every day when I took that uniform off, I was still that dude from Inglewood, and I was
Yes.
going out and still behaving and doing. And but because I wasn't in Inglewood, because I was in these places who wouldn't even see or suspect or acknowledge or even notice, right? I was able to be, as they say, below the radar, right? And so
Mm.
I
Got it.
the things that should have caught up with me all caught up with me in one weekend.
Woo.
7 years caught up in one weekend.
Wow.
And so I was of course, you pray, oh Lord, I'm gonna change my life, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
And luckily I got a DA reject, right? And for those who understand is that whenever you get arrested, there's an opportunity for the DA to file a case or reject your case, right?
Right.
Because he rejects your case doesn't mean that he don't believe you did anything. It just means that right now we don't have enough to file a case on you. So rather than try to prosecute you and lose, we're gonna let you go. And if we get evidence later or whatever, we can still come back and file this case. But in most cases, if you walk out on a DA reject, it kind of just fades away.
Right.
So that's what I got. I stayed in jail over the weekend, maybe like 3 days, 4 days. Walking out on Monday, right? Now, of course,
Right.
when I said I've been praying all weekend, Lord, you this is gonna
Yeah.
change my life, blah, 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 because I was guilty. Just for the record, just want to say that.
Okay.
Um, and so I said, okay, God, get me out. You got me. I
Wow.
got it on Monday. When I gave you my property back, my phone still worked. I turned my phone on because the battery hadn't died. Turned my phone on, called my friend. He came to scoop me up. I knew he was on the way to get me. I'm getting my property back, got my money back. I'm walking out, kind of like, hey, all that praying I did all weekend, I was rearrested on the courthouse steps. I'm walking out.
I
I'm
must admit,
walking out.
I didn't
You
expect
see,
that.
you know how court had a long walkway to come up to the courthouse, right? I
Yes.
see my friends down there in my car. I'm like, hey! And as I'm walking towards them, I hear a door slam. Bam! That was the door I came out of, the big metal door you come out of.
Right.
And then I heard Darren Dickerson. Now, I've told this story, God, probably thousands of times at this point, right? Especially because I teach Sunday school, first day at me. If you in high school, you need a Sunday school, first day at me in Los Angeles, 10 a.m. Sunday mornings, we there every Sunday. Come on through. It's in the Allen House across the street from the church, 2270 Harvard Boulevard. Had to get that in. So I have told this story thousands of times to kids and to young people. But in the beginning, when I would tell this story, I always would say, at that moment, something told me to run and I didn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I felt the need to say I should have ran, when in reality, that would have been the stupidest decision I could ever make, right?
Mm-hmm.
Best thing ever happened to me was that moment on those steps. Because that's when I knew God was real. At that moment, I knew. Right? Because the difference in me walking on down those steps was having to remember what I had committed to and not.
Wow.
See, we want to hear thunder crack and lightning and a voice from God. No, let's use something more simple, something a lot more subtle.
Well,
he let you get what you supposed to have got.
Hollywood. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, fortunately, because I had spent so many years doing things right, I had an opportunity to do an ungodly amount of community service. Okay. First of all, let me tell you that.
Yeah.
And then, spend the next few years just moving toward the person you see now.
Wow. Well, I can tell you, number one, that story caught me off guard when you said you got rearrested on the courthouse steps. I was not
on the courthouse steps.
I did not expect that. But we have comments from our audience, and I want to make sure we get those in. Wow, that's a story. Okay, we have Darren Nichols. I'm sorry, Richard. Hi, Richard. Richard says, hello, Mary. And then we have Charles. He says, hello, Mary. He missed the last. I did notice that, Charles. I noticed you weren't here. And then we have Gwen. She says, welcome, Darren. Hello, Mary. Hi, Gwen. These are our fans for the club. They are here weekly, every single week. And when I tell you the show exists because of these people, I can't thank them enough. They're always here. So
well, I'm thankful that you were even here just to hear my little humble story. So,
I can tell you now, like just the fact when you said that's when you knew God, that's when you knew there was a God. I think what happens is we want to believe there's God, but there's that like, is that really God? That now there was no doubt in your mind.
But the thing is, I always believed in God, right?
Right.
But I think that we can believe in God, but not feel His presence.
Correct.
Right? We can believe that the book is real, the stories are true, all those things happen then. Right? And in this period that we're waiting, nothing is happening.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But the reality is it's connection and disconnection, right? If you're connected, then you see it. There's no doubt about it. Right. If you're disconnected, then you deal in words like luck or fate, or luck or chance, or you know what I mean, coincidence, right? And I tell people all the time, you're not that lucky, and there's not that much coincidence in the world. Sorry. Because if you was that lucky, you'd have a lottery numbers, right? And if the coincidence was that easy, you could make coincidence happen whenever you wanted to. So,
what I think is that I don't think people recognize when it's God. I know one of my sons, he told me something, I forget what it was, good happened in his life. And I said, son, that was God. And he just got quiet because I don't think, not that he doesn't, he just didn't recognize. He's thinking, oh, like you said, I just got lucky. It just happened like that. No, son, that was God.
Right. I mean, but what I'm saying is that it's what I try to tell people, which would you rather it be? Okay, let's say this. Let's say all things being equal. Would you rather it just be dumb luck, or lean into that maybe there's this force that's there helping you and supporting you and assisting you? It's always been there. If you look back,
and you can't. I don't know this words to explain. So many times I can't even count them. It's so many. Even the fact that I even am with MegaMind, even that alone, I already know it's God.
Well, to be honest with you, I can give you. I'm gonna go a little deeper into the story, just because I know the players and they won't mind in terms of me actually connecting with MegaMind. Just a perfect example, right? I've been with Vanessa Bell Calloway 10, 12 years, right?
Okay.
She started doing stuff with MegaMind a couple years ago. They did the shorts. She directed the shorts for this very series, Black Girl Erupted, the waiting room series, the couch series. Right. Vanessa directed one of those. Now they're actually reconnecting to do the first feature film from the series, which is Black Girl Erupted. Vanessa is directing Black Girl Erupted, right? Mm-hmm. Which none of that has to do with why I'm here. Okay. Vanessa is in Wicked City, right? Now, typically, because MegaMind owns its projects and its financing, is so Vanessa would say, "Hey, Darren, I'm gonna just handle some of this, because ordinarily, if the studio or network is doing something with her and they not have to support it, then they gotta pay me, right? And so, or pay for travel or all the other little things that can really eat up a budget if you understand how you got to move people around, what the costs are. So in the case of MegaMind, Vanessa was like, "Oh, no, I'm supporting this. I'm helping. I'm going to do this." Because I didn't know MegaMind initially. I didn't know Trust Smallwood. It was a company that was hiring the client, and here's what we're going to ask for, and here's what we're going to want. And she's like, no. And Vanessa was always so gracious and willing to just work with this company. And anyone who knows Vanessa Bell Calloway knows that Vanessa Bell Calloway, she's a tough customer when she wants to be. And she will always want it exactly how she wants it. I'm like, this is not usual, Vanessa, right? So, like, oh no, I'll do my own glam. What you mean you do your own glam? Like, just little stuff like this. Like, wait a minute, like, that's because glam can be or she was willing to take a little less for her glam than what her glam would ordinarily cost, or stuff like that. Right. And I'm like, hold on. Then she had a reason to not need to travel, right? Right. She needed to be in LA. She had another appointment. This window was so tight that she was trying to, but I'm gonna go to Atlanta, do this red carpet for MegaMind, fly back. Hold up now. This is where we going far now. Now this is a lot. Okay, you jumping on planes, but you're not even back the other night. No, that's no. I need to go. But yeah, you need to come because this need to rock like clockwork precision. I gotta get back for this other thing with some personal and family that she needed to be back for and couldn't miss. And it just right. And I'm like, well, why are we going? Well, it's Tressa. I gotta meet this Tressa now. I didn't talk to Tressa now. I've talked to Tressa on the phone. She's been wonderful on the phone. She's in her team, who's always, she say, hey, this person gonna call you and do this person gonna call you and do that. It was always on point. So as a publicist, you just kind of, let's see, how should I say this? When people are doing things the way they're supposed to, that's what you want. So you just put them off to the side. They're good. Oh, boom, boom, boom. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about it. So I hadn't really dug into it the way I should have. Now I'm digging. I'm like, what am I missing here? There's something I'm missing. I get to Atlanta, and of course I meet Tressa, and she's amazing. But then I find out this is like the Lakers organization. Like Dr. Buss had this whole. It's still to this day. It's run like a family. This family organization within this bigger entertainment company, which people will tell you can't do it like that.
Yeah, you can.
Well, apparently you can, because Lakers have been doing like that for a very long time within the NBA. Right. And when I saw what MegaMind is, I was like, okay, I get it. I get why you're willing to, and not only do I get it, but how can I be down? now, but I gotta. Yeah. 1 year ago, I left STARZ. I was director of publicity for STARZ. I launched all the shows for 50 for 2022. I launched Ghost, Power Book 3. I launched Raising Canaan. I launched BMF. But those Ghost and Raising Canaan was just starting. I was just a part of that premiere and part of that launch. Ghost Power Book 3 was already going, but I picked it up as one of my shows. I launched BMF as an original series. I was actually doing this as contractor work, right? Starting in the summer of 2021 during the pandemic. in like spring, sometime spring of 2021. I started working with them.
Okay.
And then they had huge turnover, right? A lot of people left STARZ. Like in less than a month, at one point, 8 people left the publicity department while I was working as a contractor. And so I saw an opportunity to come inside, right? Because up until this point, I always worked either at Tobin and Associates, which was my mentor's agency, or
Right.
ran my own agency.
Right.
And prior to that, had done my thing and on the music side. But it was great because during a period when most people had only worked for companies, I was
Right.
a contractor working with their bosses, actually, right? Because to get
Right.
the person who signed my checks was usually a boss,
Right.
right? And so my peers, I was able to say, well, I've never worked at a major and got this far,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
But now everybody's working at majors and everybody's had that under their belt. And so I was like, okay, let me take a peek inside and see if what I think it is exactly what it is. And then it was. But it was fun because I have a huge affinity for 50, right? I think he's brilliant. And, he and I kind of hit it off in terms of when we ever had to connect from a professional standpoint. I have clients on my DSD roster, Benny Boone in particular, who had a long relationship with him. And so, I just knew what was needed at that time and understood what he was trying to get accomplished. And I feel very good about what I was able to bring in and contribute to
Right.
STARZ at that time. But at the same time, I understood that that was not the environment for me,
Right.
right? And very few people, now mind you, everybody, all of my friends, everybody, like, that's you at the spot. Yeah, like, maybe, you know, like, it's gonna be great, man, maybe, right?
Yes.
And don't get me wrong,
Did some.
everything that we did, we executed at a high level. BMF launch was incredible. Raising Canaan launch was unbelievable. The
Yeah.
Force launch during a lockdown, not just during the pandemic, but we were locked down during the Force launch. We ended up doing it in pods on a rooftop at a tavern on the Green in New York City. Amazing execution of a premiere and let everybody be at the premiere but still be isolated. I mean, we accomplished a lot. I out the door, I did the sneak peek for the TV Critics Association that gave everybody the first look inside season 2 of P Valley. It was a set visit because we couldn't actually take people to set. So we did I worked with Katori Hall and her team to produce and we did all this virtually. Like I'm working with in LA, working with a crew out of Atlanta who's going to set, and we're having because we can't physically go because all this during the pandemic, and we end up delivering what the head of production at STARZ said was probably the best TCA presentation they had ever done. Right.
Wow.
And so the things that I contributed, I did the first African American only press junket. We
Wow.
teamed up with NABJ and the Multicultural Media Correspondents Association, MMCA, which is a group out of DC, and we did a junket just for NABJ.
Wow.
Right? And
Yep.
as far as we don't know if 50 would just want to do something just for Black press. Not only did 50 want to do it, he came, stayed the whole time, was hyped, was everything that you would expect him to be because he understands his audience. So in terms of what I was able to do there, I'm super proud of. But
Wow.
the overall environment was not something that, from my mental, my spirit, you know what I mean? And so I had no problem leaving. I had full faith in leaving that the same way God placed me here, God would place me somewhere else.
All right.
Now I could have fought to stay. I could have stayed. I could have sucked it up and toughed it out and made myself like it and not have been in position to be a
Yeah.
MegaMind.
I can tell you. And
So my faith in my God landed me right here.
where you supposed to be. And we have comments from Leon. I'm gonna go. Leon says, "Whoop whoop." That's hi, Leon. And then we have comments from Charles. Go Aztecs. I don't know if you're an Aztec, Charles. I don't know. Their comments, hello, Darren, welcome. That's from Richard.
I see a
Elaine,
problem. How y'all doing?
here they come. I'm telling you, and I'm just going through them. I'm like, I want to make sure I get their comments in because they have taken the time to come. I always try to say hi to everyone in the audience that comments. Elaine said, hello, Mary and your guest, Mr. Dickerson. Interesting conversation. The production discussion brought back memories of my daughter, Jennifer, working in production at BET years ago. So her daughter has that background. And Gwendolyn said, a beautiful testimony. We are all guilty for the record. That's all. For the record. Go ahead, Gwen. And then Leon says, hi, Mary. It's Trenda. Oh, hi, Trenda. Hi.
Hi, Trenda.
And then she said, hi, Darren. I like how you guys get both our names in there. And hi, Denise. Her name, it says Denmac. And she's Dr. Brewster. Hi, Denise. And then Sheila says, hi, everyone. Hi, Sheila. And then
I love the interactivity on this show.
Oh, you know what? They know.
And look, they're coming off YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty cool. I like this.
And this is Leon says, I am enjoying this. Liban, I'm sorry. I'm enjoying the show. Thank you. And I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, you are just as much a part of the show, all of you. It wouldn't be a show without all of you being here. For Darren to take time out of his busy schedule, and I know it's a busy schedule because when I called him earlier, I think he was on 2 phones at the same time.
No, actually, no. Truth be told, what it is that I don't know how much you guys on my background you can see. I was trying to give you guys a little bit of flavor. I'm actually in Big Bear, California.
Get out!
This is spring break, so I'm working and I've got my kids out here for spring break. So you heard me quickly go on mute to tell my kids, go out there and play in the snow while I do this conversation.
Are they skiing or snowboarding?
Right now they're building a snowman.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're not far from us. We're in Riverside. You're not far from us.
Yeah. So yeah, we're right at Big Bear Lake.
All right. Yeah, you're not far. Maybe an hour away. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just listening to you. These stories they're fascinating. Let me say that. Because I think we have, when I was on set and you're working with quote unquote the stars in Hollywood, the one thing that I have come to terms with, they are like everyone else. It's because we see them on TV that we have a perception of who they are. But the truth is, their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, their brothers, they have ups and downs and ins and outs. And I think that's been the biggest aha moment for me. Just to meet them and talk with them and hear, I'm listening to them thinking, I got the same problem. You
know what it was for me?
What's that?
It was when I started meeting so many of my favorite actors when they were young. This is young now, and I want to make sure we're talking about actors in their early careers, right?
Okay.
They're typically cast, or maybe I wouldn't say cast, or maybe they find that role that allows them to excel. That's very close to their own personality, right?
Okay.
That they're able to, like, if you think about some of the early roles different actresses played, and when you met them in real life, right? Like, I would dare say that Morris Chestnut, very close in person to the persons he played. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know him like that, so I
can't
can't say.
Character, he's very, when you meet him, I'm not saying he's like a friend of mine or boys and nothing like that, but I've been around him. I had the opportunity to see him, after, some of the earlier movies from Boys in the Hood to, you name it. And he was very similar to that guy, Terrence Howard.
So there's that.
Terrence Howard, if you remember the first Best Man, that's Terrence Howard. The guitar playing, but also starts to get your ass in some trouble. That's very much the, kind of eclectic, kind of cool. That was him then. Now I can't say the roles that he eventually, when they get deep into their craft and become these other things, that's something else. Right. But that was amazing to me. That it actually made me think, like, okay, I could act if I, you know what I mean, that wasn't my passion. You know, I took some classes, I did the thing on stage, I learned blocking and all that good stuff.
Right.
But I think, being from where I was from and growing up around the type of men I grew up around, the I think to really be great as either an actor, stage performer, whatever, there's something about that energy you get back from the crowd, right?
Yeah.
That applause, that whatever, that it just never did that for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know
And I
exactly
and
what
I
you.
and here's the thing, and I know it because I played sports. Now in
Oh,
sports, that crowd always, but I thought I would get that when I was, and so that's when I realized that actually what does it for me is watching the people who I've helped put in position do their thing.
wow. That's where you get that gratification that they, where they're where
So
they're.
I pinned a picture to my Instagram. This is a shot from behind Vanessa on set. A black girl erupted. You could clearly see Vanessa, director. Yeah, standing behind her, watching her in her space.
Yeah.
That does it for me, right?
Oh, I
And
can.
then being able to share that with the world, and having there's always these great moments as a publicist, right, where you secure something, or you realize that this opportunity, this moment that just happened is going to play out so much bigger down the road, right?
Right.
And to be there, right? So when Vanessa Bell Calloway won the NAACP Theater Award for Best Actress in a one woman stage play that she helped develop with the writer.
Wow. Yeah.
There's, what I
That's.
mean, to be with Lil Mama, right,
Mm-hmm.
on the press run for Crazy Sexy Cool,
Wow.
and understanding what she had done and
Mm-hmm.
how the world was going to see and celebrate her as an actor. Can't
Wow.
can't You know what I mean? And so there's these moments. There's these moments where you're off stage, and you're watching um, Hydea Broadbent, who I represented as a manager, who was an HIV/AIDS activist, and most people know her as a little girl from Magic Johnson's video, or you've seen her on so many shows. But to be, on a one of the biggest stages in the world with some of the biggest stars in the world, and position her to be able to share her story and to
Wow.
affect change, right? To
Right.
go and speak at Congress, or go in and to know that it is my job to make sure those people feel safe, they
Mm.
feel protected, they feel comfortable and confident to be able to go out there and do what they do. It's a great
Right.
responsibility, and I treasure it.
It is. It is. I admire it. I'll be honest. I admire it. I really do. I think, yeah, even on just watching you interact on set and with people, which you didn't know, by the way, but just watching you talk to, it could be the PAs. It didn't matter who it was. You were always respectful. You were always, you have a gentleness with everyone, and which I really need.
You know what? I'm gonna play this for some people. Hey, y'all, I'm
No,
gonna look at look right. Y'all heard Mary.
no,
I got a gentleness.
no, because think about it. You didn't know me. You did not know me, and you did not know that I was paying attention. And when I really realized, I said, he doesn't even know that that your way with people is a gift. That is a
You
gift.
know what? I do now, right? And
Mhm.
what's we've been having this conversation, this kind of intermingling business and faith, and so I struggled for a lot of years because I'm a strong personality, right? I am not confused in the things that I want to do. So I'm very clear in what I want to do, how I want to do it. And if you don't have an opinion on a decision, I got one. Let's go. Right. And some people can mistake that for not being fair or not being, or being, you can put any kind of number of things, ego, selfish, whatever you want to put on it. Right. But my family is from Little Rock, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. My great grandmother, Lottie Brock. You couldn't even talk too loud in her house. Yeah. You don't run through the house. All that. That's on my father's side. Right. My grandmother, on my mother's side, Tarleys Porter. We always Tarleys Porter Dickerson. We always raised with our grandma. Our mother. We spend more time with our mother's families typically than we do our father's families. These were the two pillars, right? Yeah. And they just didn't understand not being polite. There's no just every day, just being courteous, kind, polite, Yeah. Now, I did grow up in Gangland, USA. I grew up in, I spent a lot of time in the South and seen a lot of different things associated with race. And, I can't always say that I've always upheld their standard. How about that? But in the times I didn't, I've dealt with people in kind, right? If that's how you want to go, and that's where you want to take it, I don't have no problem going there and taking this. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. But I prefer to be kind. I think every day, I'm happy every day. I wake up, I don't care what happened yesterday. I wake up happy every single day.
I love it. Love it.
And so because of that, I'm typically gonna come to you with a smile on my face, a joke, and having a good time. My kids will tell you, I don't know a stranger. There's nowhere I go. I'm on whatever community I'm in, right? And if you're welcoming me, I'm gonna welcome you.
All right.
Right. And if you come into my community, I'm gonna be the welcomer. I'm gonna say, hey, welcome to let's
Well,
because it's more.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I'm a witness to this. Like I said, we didn't even know each other. You had no idea I was even paying attention, and I saw you in action, and I was so. In fact, this is how. Because if you remember, before we left the set, I said, if you need someone to help volunteer, I'll be happy to. If you
right, I do understand that. Yeah.
And you didn't know that was why, because I was just so impressed in how you were dealing with everyone on set. So, but we have so many comments. We got.
No, I love the comments. I know this interactive show is cool. You know what I mean? It's rare that I'm on a show where you have this kind of interaction.
They are, and they're loving you. Here they go. They said, "We love Mary and her guests." Thank you, Sheila.
Hey, Sheila.
And this is Trish. Trish says, "Hi, Mary. Hi, Darren. I am enjoying you today." Oh, you guys are so
thank you.
And then we have Charles says, also Darren brought back memories of Tavern on the Green.
Tavern on the Green, yeah. No, we had a really good time. So the one thing I can honestly say about Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, he knows how to exhibit his product, and he knows exactly what he wants for the vibe he's going to create. And so, the one thing I can say is that he's been the premieres. If you ever go look at any kind of premiere event or red carpet event that any of his shows has done. Now, I won't front that they have the events team at STARZ. That events team is dope, right? Okay. But he got their feet to the fire to be that good.
Wow. Here, let me go on with our guest. And Trish says, I am loving that fireplace in the background. So
yeah, I move things around to set that. I'm like, I'm in Big Bear. I gotta give y'all the vibe, right?
And then we have DMX says, treating people like you want to be treated. Kindness and love it. That's what that. And this is from Denise. She says, DMX, Dr. Brewster. I always make sure I get Dr. Brewster in there. And this is our executive producer of the show, Oliver Welch is my husband. Hi, babe. And he says, hi, Darren. Thank you for joining the show. We appreciate the eye-opening knowledge and expertise in your field. That's from Oliver.
No, I love when I can, one, just talking to you is easy, right? It's very easy. We're having a very honest conversation.
Yes.
I love sharing, and what I try to do when I talk is that there's so many people who, when you see them in entertainment, you may not be able to see yourself, right? Because by the time you see them, they polished up, they suited and booted, they got that, right? Yeah. And again, I applaud those people because that's the way they have worked and maneuvered through the industry, right? I did not go straight to high school straight to college after high school. I went to the military. I didn't just come out of the military and go into some DOD job where I connect. No, I ended up right back in Inglewood. Right.
So your path was
I did go to Santa Monica College. When I got that associate's, I kind of already maneuvered my way into entertainment. I started managing groups, just working with my friends and people who I knew, using the business savvy that I learned from being in the military for 7 years and applying that to these people who had talent. And I donated a lot of time, volunteered a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why? To get game, to get free game.
Yeah.
And I had probably, how many years between when I left Santa Monica? Maybe 10 years between when I left Santa Monica and then went back to school. So I went back to school. I was already in entertainment, but when I went back to school.
Right.
True story. So my mentor, Pat Tobin, right? I would see her out all the time at this point. So I was managing groups. The last situation I did on the music side was an artist named Gorilla Black. I was GMing a label, helped him get his situation and deal. When I helped him, my attorney and his attorney were the same. I helped my attorney get his money back by helping them get the Gorilla Black situation going. So that really burned me out on entertainment. I was trying to just decide what I was going to do, but I've put together my own tours. I put together my own, like when I say my own, meaning I would get an artist and say, I'm gonna fly you to, because I had Little Rock as my pivot point, right? I do a show in Dallas, show in Little Rock, show in Memphis. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Send them back, but I only really paid them one time. You understand what I mean? I paid them a lump for these 3 days, and I made my money back on the 3 days and sent them back just cover their travel. And a lot of times, because they was on promo or trying to do stuff too, I did my own conferences, right? Shout out to Troy Marshall, who used to be he went from MCA to Interscope. He my man. Anybody in music know Troy. I done flew people to Little Rock, Arkansas to sit on panels and conferences, but I booked out the hotel. I did the deal with the hotel, right?
Darren, you down to less than 1 minute, and I'm sitting here because what'll happen if we go over, it shuts down.
No, I'm just saying. My point being
I want you to say,
you can see wherever you see I am now, wherever you are, you can get here too. Wherever you are, you can get here too.
These are your last words to our audience, because this is almost exactly, we have 30 seconds. What would you like to let everyone know? How can they live their dream?
Faith. Faith, not just in God, but faith that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's not going to be easy. I should have quit. Man, I should have quit 10 years ago. But I believe that everything that I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so there was no quit. And even on the darkest days, I knew, even when things didn't go right. I mean, I have friends who tell you I took losses. But at the same time, I knew. And so if you know, don't listen to anyone. But also learn.
I don't want it to cut you off.
I'm saying, but the learning part.
Okay.
Get somewhere, either go to school or volunteer.
All right. I want to thank you so much, Darren, for taking time, because I know how busy.
I want to come back.
Please come back.
Somebody back with me.
Comments that come in, I can't even get to them. God bless you. Thank you. And we're gonna do some things together.
Listen, I'm gonna bring somebody back with me. Oh, I see the countdown. I see where we are. Got
Okay.
it. You're gonna cut off in 1 hour. I got you.
Oh,
But listen, next time let's bring some folks back. You know, I can be a little more focused too. So you let me know. I'm happy to have been here. Thank you.
thank you. God bless you.
God bless you too.
Bye, everyone. See you next Monday.